And welcome to the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. It's Thursday, May 23rd, 2025. Well, we got news on Donald Trump's big, beautiful tax bill. It's from heaven. Thank you, Lord. Maybe not. Well, I got an article from USA Today. Let me start with that. President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill barely squeezed past the House of Representatives in an early morning vote on May 22nd. With only a one-vote margin, the bill passed the House in a 215 to 214 vote. As predicted, all Democrats, thank you guys, voted no on it. But two Republicans, Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Warren Davidson of Ohio, voted against it after a marathon all-night debate. The Trump and Republican-backed bill encompasses everything from changes in electric vehicle credits to key Trump campaign promises of no taxation on tips or overtime. While it has been a bumpy road for the bill to even make it this far, with some ultra-conservative members impeding its passage due to Medicaid, it got through the House budget in a narrow 17 to 16 vote on May 18th. Goes on to say here, passing through the committee and the House is a huge win for Trump and his bill, but the likelihood of getting it through the Senate committees and floor vote as it stands is now slim. So we still have hope, people. We still have hope that this ridiculous bill does not get passed. What's the bill? We talked about this just the other day, but I'm going to talk about it again. We need to hear this. Now, those of you that are basically brainwashed into believing that giving billionaires more money by taking it off of poor people is a good idea, there's plenty of channels. There's plenty of channels you can watch that will make you feel good. You know, they will give you that confirmation bias you need to sleep at night and to complain about the Democrats day and night. Day and night. Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. Grow up a little bit. So Trump is offering tax cuts in excess of $4 trillion, which almost entirely benefits wealthy Americans. Now, $3.6 trillion of those cuts are a continuation of measures he put in place in his first term as president, which are now due to be renewed. Now, let me go back to those. He made these statements as a liar in chief, that these were going to be reinvested in America, the money that these rich people get back on their taxes. It was going to make another booming American economy. That never happened, and it never does. They take the money and they pocket it. Companies that get their money, their tax cuts, basically buy their own stock, which then increases the value of their stock. This is just a ploy to make people think that something good will happen when they give rich people who look at them as an amoeba more money. So he wants to renew them at an enormous cost to America, an enormous cost in many ways. Now, here's the thing. These tax cuts are modest in comparison to what he's doing. There will be some benefit for older people, some benefit for higher paid people. Now, I don't know what that range is for higher paid people. We're not talking the rich. We're just talking higher paid people. You know, people that are likely to vote for Trump because they get paid more. They're Republicans usually, and they've drank that Kool-Aid. It tastes good. It's battery acid. So, but the billionaire class is going to make out like a bandit here. They will get a majority of these tax cuts, overwhelmingly a majority. Now, there are some more significant items here in this tax bill that are really horrible. There's punitive tax measures he put in. Now let's go back and step back and maybe venture down the rabbit hole a little bit. Okay, so who does Trump hate? Black people, minorities, gay people, poor people, universities, liberals, woke people, Democrats. Should I say more? So you see, the right wing of his party, they hate liberal education. Because you see, These people are evil. They're teaching us liberal education. They're making them think for themselves instead of what we're telling them to think. What are we going to do? Well, you read recently, Trump now wants to ensure that Harvard University, one of our premier Ivy League schools, cannot enroll foreign students. See, he has an issue with Harvard, but that's just one, because, his son didn't get into Harvard. Do you remember Barron did not get into Harvard? He wasn't smart enough. He wasn't good enough. Just like Donald wasn't good enough to do anything he's doing, except that he had money. And he was a good thief and a con man. Well, maybe Barron can follow in his footsteps, but he's after Harvard. Now, as you recall, Linda McMahon, the Secretary of Education, sent a letter to Harvard complaining about things, and Harvard sent a letter back marked up in red with all the errors she made in syntax and spelling and whatever. Again, another idiot that Donald Trump put into place that's unqualified, but an idiot that will say, yes, sir, anything you want. So he's going after universities. Now, he's going to tax the universities. For instance, the tax bill on American universities on the interest they earn on their endowment funds will increase from 1.4%, hold on there, friends, to 21%. And the only reason for that is because the right wing of his party hate liberal education. So any university or college that doesn't do what Donald Trump wants, which is apologize to him for not accepting Barron and to do what he says and eliminate all liberal ideas within the college or university, he's going to go after you. No, I went through a liberal education. It's perfect. It's great. There's nothing wrong with it. I turned out pretty good. Well, I guess it depends on who you talk to. But I know a lot of people, and we all do. Most people went to a college with a liberal education. Now, what I've heard is colleges that are more conservative are very poor at many things they do. Their graduates come out not right sometimes, too narrow-minded, filled with hateful ideas. They, too, begin to hate minorities and immigrants and anybody that doesn't agree with them. See, it's a legacy that right-wing people leave their children, or that's what they hope they do. But see, when they go to a liberal college, they're afraid that they're going to learn woke ideas. Oh, my Lord, brown people can be okay? You can be friends with a black person and sit on a bus with them? That's crazy talk. I can get carried away. So what we're dealing with here is a president who hates universities and colleges unless they're ultra-right conservative and racist, and he hates poor people. The net cost of this big, beautiful bill, it's big and it's beautiful, is estimated to be between $3.5 and $5.5 trillion. Now, most commentators and analysts believe it's going to be on the higher side of that range, around $5.5 to $6 trillion. Now, these tax cuts won't make America rich again. Remember, he's going to make America rich. We're going to have so much money. Now, wasn't that true? He said with the tariffs, we're going to make so much money that we're going to be so rich, we're not going to know what to do with the money. I didn't see anybody getting rich on that. In fact, he is costing us more money after embarrassing us on the world stage. We're not making any money there. So now this tax cut, it's not going to make America rich either. But it will make his buddies, Elon Musk and all the rest of the billionaire class, make them much, much richer. Okay, Medicaid. So this is what really hurts. In order to get to this amount, he's attacked poor people. You see, here's the right-wing conspiracy theory. They're good at it. They love right-wing conspiracy theories. And they like yanking scriptures out of the Bible to support them, yanking them. Okay? Yanking. Shh, this is what's happening, see? Okay. Well, in this case, this tax bill is demonic. It's an offense to our country, and it's an offense to what our country stands for. So they've attacked Medicaid. Now, Medicaid supports the health provisions of 71 million Americans, including 1/4 of all American children. Now, you see, right-wing people believe that all these folks that are on Medicaid are stealing the money. They don't work, they're lazy, they're bums, they're filthy, they steal. This is what they've been told by Donald Trump and these right-wing people for 20-some years now. The talk show hosts like Sean Hannity, the people on Fox, Newsmax, you name it, these people have talked down against poor people for decades. This is not a new problem, my friends. Donald Trump is not the problem. He's got to go, but he's not the problem. He's that symptom of a deeper problem. He's a symptom of a deeper problem within America, a divide in America. And people on the right, though many middle class, don't understand that they're the target too. Don't have enough sense to see it. So he wants to deny benefits to children of undocumented parents. He wants to penalize those states that are trying to improve the package. Now, let me go down this because people say, well, they're undocumented. Listen. You know, what kind of country do you want? Obviously, the right-wing people who consider themselves religious, they want an America that isn't the America that I see we should have. It's not the America that our founding fathers really wanted. They want a controlled, white-dominated America where everybody works at what these people want them to work at. Go to one of Donald Trump's factories and make tennis shoes for 12 hours a day for $10 an hour. You don't need to go to college. You don't need benefits. You work where we tell you to work. We'll enjoy all the benefits of it. We'll buy the tennis shoes, the fancy ones, you know, the $200 ones. Those rich people and upper middle class people, they'll buy that stuff up at somebody else's expense, right? He also wants to drastically reduce support for the poorest Americans, and they will all suffer. He is deliberately trying to impose suffering. So Donald Trump wants to reduce support for the poorest Americans. Again, he has support from the right wing because remember, the poorest Americans aren't working. They're lazy. This will cause suffering. And of course, the right wing likes this because you see, you deserve it. They believe you deserve it because you're not working. You're not like them. I have so many people to think they're special because they have a job. They're working. Oh, I'm working. And you're useless. You can work all you want and still be useless. Okay. What's implicit in this bill is that there are deserving and undeserving poor. And the undeserving poor who can't work, you see, here's the thing. He wants everybody on Medicaid to work. Most likely a good number of these people can't work and others are working, but not making a lot of money. See, there's a dollar value here that they're never going to reach. They're poor. But he wants them to work. You're going to work or you're not going to get benefits. Now, the consequence to this is that people who need health care, and this is where it comes down to, whether you're working or not, you need health care. And most people in these tax brackets cannot afford health care. And of course, the health care companies are complicit in this because they don't want to pay for people who are poor, who may get sick more often because they don't eat well, because they have other issues. They're not going to pay for these people, so they're going to make sure they don't get on the rolls. They don't want them on the rolls. Donald Trump doesn't want them on the rolls. In fact, I believe Donald Trump is more than happy to let them suffer and go by the wayside. As long as they're out of his sight, as long as they're out of his vision, as long as you don't hear about him, he's fine. Remember what I said, he had an answer to homelessness. Move them out of the cities and put them somewhere in a rural area where you can't see them. That's his fix. Because for Donald Trump, it isn't about fixing things. Really, it isn't. It's about making money, making the deal, satisfying the people he needs to satisfy to stay in power, and put change in his pocket while he's doing it. And then feeling like he's a king, he's a ruler. People must obey him, like the universities and colleges. You're going to do what I say. Well, these are mostly private universities and colleges. Stop and shut up. And the funding you give them is funding they deserve to get because it's at colleges and universities that many medical breakthroughs are found. That's what is being funded by the federal government. You wouldn't have half the things you have today if it wasn't for these basically research grants that people get to find cures, to find answers. But we're not going to do that because it doesn't matter. Everybody's a crook. Everybody's disrespecting us. I deserve respect. Should I maybe start an acting career? He's also going to get rid of or reduce the SNAP program. Okay, he wants to basically reduce the SNAP program, which is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Programs. This is basically food stamps. Now, food stamps has always been a contention with many people. I know some people on food stamps, and I'll be honest with you, they need them. And this is really to help the most vulnerable people, the poorest. Now, somebody always comes in and says they're buying steaks, and I don't know. You know what? All I can say is we can't look at every single person that gets food stamps. We can't. Maybe we should. Maybe there should be people that investigate this stuff. But to just blatantly, randomly, with your eyes closed, throw a dart and hit something and say, well, you're off, is not a good idea. And they did the same thing with Musk. Remember the Doge, which you don't hear much about anymore because Elon's on the run because his company's falling apart. Elon's a genius. Yeah, sure is. But, same thing. They just fire people. No one investigates anything. So everybody on Medicaid, if you're not working like we say you should work, you're not going to get any benefits. But you know what? Americans need health care. And we, as Americans, should support them having health care. What country do you want to live in? The greedy right-wing white taskmasters who don't think anybody deserves anything? Or do you want to live in a country that helps the needy, helps them, regardless, helps them to reach out and help, to offer assistance? And that's through our government. That's what the government's there for, to make sure that everybody has a chance. And if you can't afford it, we're here to support you. If you want to investigate things that seem like you're shady, then investigate those things. But don't attack everybody randomly. But you see, it's not really about that. And this is what you got to understand. Those people that support this kind of tyranny, those people want to hear that there's these thieves and these people that don't work. They want excuses. See, they need cover. So the fascists in the government give them what they want to hear. They'll tell you that everybody's illegal, everybody's got to go to jail, they're all criminals, they're all rapists, none of them are paying taxes. They'll give you all these things that make you feel good. So then you have cover. Then you don't have to worry about someone saying you don't want to help these people. They're all crooks and thieves. That's what it's really about. But for Donald Trump, it's just about hatred. He hates these people. And that money that is being used, he can be giving to rich people. So guess what? You've got to get rid of the poor people, take the money off of them and their benefits and give it to the rich people. Meanwhile, his supporters are cheering. Yay, Donald! There's more people starving, more people dying of cancer. Yay, Donald! On all this stuff. This is just another assault on the American poor is what it is. Now, where's this money going? It's going to fund the rich people, as I just mentioned. So what else is in this big, beautiful bill? Well, he wants to cut clean energy measures. Now, there's a lot of controversy on this. People don't want clean energy measures. They want their big gas-guzzling cars. Drill, baby, drill. And I know these people that have really small brains. And they do, because what they're thinking of is they just want to go to the gas station and pay a nickel per gallon and drive their gas guzzlers, and because there's no environmental repercussions. But there is. And again, they were told, here we go. They were all told that that's all fake. Environment just changes when it feels like it every 100 zillion years, and it's nothing that we've done, and the ice caps aren't melting, and there's no pollution, and there's nothing. It's fine. We need our gas guzzling cars. And then they'll say, airplanes won't run on electricity. Well, no one said they would, but we don't need every car in our country to be gas guzzling monsters. Electric vehicles will work, and they do work, and they will get better. But he wants to cut all this because, you see, he has money invested in oil and gas. Oh, baby. So, again, they told all of you people on the right wing the reasons not to want electric vehicles, the batteries, no charging stations, all these idiot things. Well, here's the thing. Those will come. There is money invested. They will come at one point or another. Maybe not now. Maybe it's a little more of an issue right now. Maybe it is. But it doesn't mean you scrap everything. It doesn't mean just go back to your gas-guzzling car. Because everybody else in the world is moving away from gas-guzzling cars. Saudi Arabia, who drills oil, they've invested massive trillions of dollars in clean energy. Why? Because, see, they know too. They have sense. They have some brain power. But our folks, no, they want to make us use a battery. Those batteries are dangerous. Well, okay, that'll get better, and it has. And those cars are pretty nice. But see, he wants to get rid of tax credits on them so you can't buy a car. And I agree with having tax credits if you buy an electric car. That's the idea to me, is to promote things that will help us in the future, not just today. But Donald Trump's a man of today. Pocket the money, rape the environment, get rid of poor people, get rid of immigrants. It's just us rich white folk here at the top, and everybody else will just do what we want them to do. What's next? He also wants to get rid of Pell Grants. Now, a Pell Grant is provided to the poorest student to get them into a college. Now, usually you have to work with a Pell Grant. You have to be employed as well, I believe. Now, here's the thing. These Pell Grants are really helpful to the poorest of the poor, working poor, minorities mostly will be hurt by this. But again, he really doesn't want people to go to college. Listen to me. The only people that deserve to go to college are the rich white people. Everybody else should work in his factories, his sweatshops for $10 an hour. Because remember, minimum wage is still $7.25, right? Is that what it is? $7.25 for how many years? But we don't want to raise it, because then everybody will raise their prices. If we give you a raise, we're going to pay another 50 cents on a hamburger. You can't do that stuff. Well, that's okay. Because you see, you're a rich white person, or you're a middle-class white person. You think you deserve to pay your employees $7 an hour without health and safety things, right? Because Donald Trump doesn't believe in health and safety. OSHA will never show up when you're out there cleaning a radioactive pit without a suit. Just get in there and clean it. You don't need a respirator. Don't use it. We don't believe in any of that stuff. I know. I kind of went down a rabbit hole there. Now, the tax bill obviously is designed to give the richest of the rich a pretty big break. But the problem is, and it says here, I looked this up, this is at the expense, of course, of the U.S. Economy. Now, the projected savings of this big, beautiful tax bill is $1.6 trillion. It's not a lot, but this leaves the U.S. with even a bigger deficit. In fact, the deficit's going to go up. And he tries to, mark this down. He tries to get his press secretary to make everybody seem like somehow we're winning by going into debt. Now, there will be at least a $3 trillion increase in U.S. debt because of this bill, because of Donald Trump. Now, what happened to the balanced budget and getting rid of all this stuff? None of that affected anything. It was useless. So our debt will go from $36 trillion to $39 trillion next year. What happened to all the cuts then he was making that's going to save all this money and help reduce the deficit and help get people money back? And, well, that was never going to happen. Again, he told people this because they voted for that, but it was a lie. And if you don't understand how the government works, and I'm sad to say, most people, especially on the right, they just think it's a number. You just go in and you just say, we're not doing this anymore, and you just saved $1 trillion. But it's not like that. And many people need to go back to school. I've been promoting this. Now, of course, you're going back to one of these colleges or universities. They may not teach you what you need because Donald Trump will only allow them to teach you what he thinks you need to know. So you may not get the right education to understand the crooked things he's doing. He'd rather not have people looking over his shoulder that actually know something. Expertise is not wanted. No need to apply if you're an expert. So there is no savings. There is no savings for the country. There is no benefit for the country. We've fired good people. We've weakened ourselves. We've weakened our bureaucracy. We've weakened our health care. We've weakened our defense. We've weakened our air traffic controllers. We've weakened the CDC. We've weakened the Nuclear Energy Commission. We've weakened every program out there, education, go down the list. We've weakened those things. In the meanwhile, all to get people a tax cut that don't need them. In fact, these people should be paying more taxes. Don't you think? I mean, let me know. I would think most of you have common sense out there, and I think a lot of you that watch this program know this already. But we need to get more people to know this. We need to spread the word. And other people who believe other things need not apply. We don't need you to apply because, again, there's plenty of people that will tell you what you want to hear. Sean Hannity, right? Conspiracy Radio, Fox News, or the Fascist News Network, Newsmax. Go down the list of people. They will tell you what you want to hear. Go on that right-wing radio station. You can listen to them all day, rant and rave, how everything's going to be great. Fantastic. And sadly for poor people, it's not. Poor people are going to suffer. Whether you think they were working or aren't working and should work, whether you think they're immigrants or the children of immigrants, we cannot let people suffer in this country because of Donald Trump. Can't do it. We must take a stand. Those of us with empathy have to take a stand, because Jesus did say, what you do to the least of these, you do unto me. And guess what? Every one of those categories he's attacking. Poor people, immigrants, brown people, black people, you name it. Those are the least of these. Now you can try to have a conversation with somebody who's on that right wing and tell them that's what you hear, that's what you believe, and they will disagree with you. They will come up with some obscure scripture, rip it out, and basically try to bash it down your throat. So I don't discuss it with these people. They'll have to discuss it with Jesus himself at some point. I want to go by those words in red. We were never intended to hate all these groups. Never. And I know people disagree. We're supposed to preach at them and hammer them. And no. I don't know where they got these doctrines. I really don't. But when you go back, Jesus had his hand out to immigrants, to the foreigner, to the poor, to the sick, to the needy. He was woke. Oh, absolutely. There's a debate over that. Did you know that? He wasn't woke. Yeah, the Republican Jesus doesn't exist. It only exists in the right-wing supporter of Donald Trump's mind. Jesus was woke, and he loved everybody, and that's what he came to do, and that's what he commands us to do. So I hope you join me in doing just that. Join me in our fight against tyranny. One way to do that is subscribe to this program, like and share it. Hit that bell icon. That'll get you notified when we have a new video. Again, we need you to spread the word. Come back, watch our videos. Go back and watch my other videos. I know if you haven't seen many of them and you're just new to this program, they'll be helpful to see where we stand and where we're going. I also want to plug our sister station, the Nights Around the Fire. If you haven't seen those programs, go there now. There's one in queue now that'll be posted probably tonight. And there will be another one posted probably early this weekend, I'm hoping. There'll be 3 then. If you haven't watched any of them, go over to Nights Around the Fire. I'll plug a link in the description box. Beyond all that, God bless you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow right here on the David Tomsic Show.